Bethesda's highly anticipated expansion for Starfield titled Shattered Space is set to launch at the end of September, and we just got a ton of new details on the DLC in Bethesda's 9-minute deep dive video. After the massive success of the base game for Starfield, Shattered Space marks the first significant story expansion for Bethesda's latest open-world RPG. In this expansion, players will delve into the secrets of House Faroon, a faction that has been largely shrouded in mystery and obviously absent during the base game, and in this video I'm going to go over all of the new information we now have on Shattered Space. But before we get into it, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Starfield news. One of the key highlights of the Shattered Space expansion is its overall focus on Va'ruun Kai, the isolated homeworld planet of the House Faroon faction in Starfield. But unlike the base game, which is known for its expansive, galaxy-spanning map and procedurally generated planet, Shattered Space shifts to a more intimate, meticulously handcrafted experience like previous Bethesda experiences, what many Bethesda fans thought that they should have done from the start with Starfield. Bethesda's development team has continued to emphasize the importance of this difference with this new expansion, which harkens back to the studio's earlier games such as the Elder Scrolls series and Fallout, where handcrafted environments were more prominent. And this Shattered Space expansion has been compared continuously to one of the previous Bethesda DLCs, specifically the Far Harbor DLC for Fallout 4, which is held by some fans as one of the best expansions ever made by the studio. I recently went back and played the Far Harbor DLC for Fallout 4 after they made the comparisons to it with the Shattered Space expansion, and it really is as good as I remember. And of course, you need to go back and revert your edition of Fallout 4 back to the pre-next gen update version if you plan to play this game again. The next gen update version of Fallout 4 is still broken, of course, and Bethesda just left it there, broken, with no word or indication of fixing it anytime soon. But let's stop that talk there before I go on a complete rant. In this Starfield Shattered Space expansion, the entire story they've made for us will in fact take place in one singular location on Va'ruun Kai, an isolated, mysterious planet that Bethesda has fully handcrafted and built out for us players to explore. From the moment players first arrive on this new planet in the Shattered Space expansion, they will be immersed in the planet's unique atmosphere without ever needing to leave the planet. While of course players are free to leave the planet and go on other adventures at any point in time, the expansion story, however, will remain firmly rooted in Va'ruun Kai if you choose to return to it and its complex societal structure, which we will get into in just a moment. The singular setting in this expansion is designed to allow for deeper exploration of the planet's history, culture, and inhabitants. Bethesda here aims for players to feel fully immersed in the mysteries of House Faroon and the turmoil that grips their society. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Shattered Space being compared to Far Harbor and the apparent handcrafted environments Bethesda is making for us to explore. The expansion's plot centers around House Faroon, a reclusive faction in Starfield devoted to the worship of the enigmatic deity known as the Great Serpent. Players first arrive on Va'ruun Kai, this new planet, in the aftermath of a catastrophic event called the Vortex Incident, which has left much of the capital city on this planet of Dazra in ruins. It appears that when we first get to the planet, they are only a few weeks removed from this big incident. It appears that people are still looking for their loved ones and trying to clamor with the fact that this big incident has actually happened. Rebuilding efforts are far from being started when we first arrive at the planet in ruins. It sounds like this all started with a secret experiment involving grav drive technology, and it has gone horribly wrong for them, tearing a hole in the space-time continuum and swallowing a significant portion of the city. With Dazra City being devastated and reeling from this disaster, the House Faroon faction has plunged into overall chaos and sees several other minor houses of the faction vying for control of the planet. Anasko Va'ruun, the speaker for the Great Serpent and leader of the faction House Faroon, has mysteriously vanished in this chaos, leaving a power vacuum on the planet in their wake. Competing factions within House Faroon are now vying for control, creating a tense political landscape that players must navigate along their adventure. Previous factions like the Spacers and the Crimson Fleet are also looking to take some control, further adding to the chaos. As the player, you will have to decide the fate of House Faroon, balancing the interest of its various sub-factions and uncovering the truth behind this disastrous experiment that led to the Vortex Incident. All of this could forever change the settled systems. The narrative of Shattered Space blends political drama with elements of cosmic horror. The grav drive experiment, which aimed to push the boundaries of technology and knowledge in this universe, has unleashed terrifying consequences. Strange creatures from the other side of the space-time tear have begun to slip through the rift and appear on the planet of Va'ruun Kai. These creatures, known as horrors, present a significant threat to the inhabitants of the planet and to the player. Players will face ambushes from these horrors throughout the expansion, adding a new layer of tension and unpredictability to the gameplay. Bethesda Game Studios has described the tone of the Shattered Space expansion as darker and more aggressive than the base game. While the main game focused on ranged combat and exploration across vast distances, the expansion brings combat much closer and more personal to the player. Players can expect to encounter fierce, in-your-face battles with these new enemies, particularly the Cavern Bonecrest, an alien species that will challenge even the most prepared explorers. The Cavern Bonecrest Queen in particular is a formidable foe for players to take on, and they are capable of devastating attacks in her lair. Vurun Kai, this new planet itself, is a visually striking planet unlike anything seen in the base game of Starfield, and Bethesda's developers have gone on to describe it as a highly alien planet with a unique visual identity that sets it apart from the other worlds players have visited in Starfield already. The capital city on this planet of Dazra is currently in ruins after this incident, with a massive crater marking the spot where a large section of the city was consumed by the Vortex incident. Alongside the massive crater, the inhabitants of Vurun Kai face a host of other additional challenges. Following the catastrophic grav drive experiment, the Scaled Citadel, which serves as the seat of power for House Vurun, has become ensnared in an energy field. The devastation of this incident is still fresh, and players will find themselves navigating a world where the wounds of this disaster are still very raw just a few weeks after it took place for the members of House Vurun. Outside of the city of Dazra, Vurun Kai's landscape is filled with gravity anomalies, extraterrestrial vistas, and abandoned areas that have been overrun by zealots, spacers, and Crimson Fleet pirates. These factions from the base game of Starfield continue to pose a constant danger as they fight for control over the planet's resources and the remnants of House Vurun's grasp on power. The planet's surface is very treacherous, and players will need to tread carefully as they uncover the truth about what actually happened to this once thriving society. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the game's story, themes, and the new world of Vurun Kai in the Shattered Space expansion. Bethesda has also introduced a variety of new gameplay mechanics in the Shattered Space expansion to complement the expansion's more aggressive tone. With new enemy types, the expansion aims to provide a fresh and dynamic combat experience for players. And unlike the base game, where long-range gunfights were the norm, Shattered Space brings the combat closer, with more emphasis on melee engagements and fast-paced encounters. The expansion also introduces new weapons, spacesuits, and gear, allowing players to adapt to the harsh conditions of Vurun Kai and the unique challenges it presents. Players can expect to find rare and powerful equipment as they explore the planet's hidden locations and complete side missions in this new world. And the reintroduction of low-gravity combat as a focus point in this expansion's combat also adds different layers of strategy, as players will need to navigate environments where the laws of physics are unreliable and the enemies can strike from unexpected angles. The political intrigue in Shattered Space is central to its narrative, with Anasko Vurun missing and the Scaled Citadel, House Vurun's seat of power, trapped within a mysterious energy field. The faction is set on the brink of collapse. Various sub-factions within House Vurun are now vying for control, each with its own agenda and vision for the future of the faction. Players will need to decide which faction to support, and their choices will have significant consequences for the future of Vurun Kai, its people, and the settled systems. And to reiterate this point, Bethesda has further compared the scale and scope of this expansion to Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC, a fan-favorite expansion that also contained story-driven experiences for the player. Like Far Harbor, Shattered Space is expected to offer a deep and engaging narrative, with multiple endings depending on the player's choices throughout the expansion. Shattered Space will be available for purchase for $29.99, but players who purchase the Premium or Constellation editions of Starfield at launch will receive the expansion at no additional cost. And for those players out there who own the base edition of the game, the Premium Edition upgrade can also be purchased, which includes the expansion along with other digital bonuses such as the digital art book for the game, original soundtrack, 1,000 creation credits, and the Constellation skin pack. Starfield Shattered Space expansion is set to finally be released on September 30th, 2024, and the expansion will be available on PC and Xbox Series X and S consoles. I believe Starfield overall can be seen as a success for Bethesda Game Studios, with over 14 million players jumping into the game since launch and an average playtime of over 40 hours per player, which is crazy to think about. But obviously there are some points to be made about the Steam numbers and the player count specifically for this game, and it's dropped drastically over time. Hopefully this expansion and all of the updates that have been added to Starfield over time bring players back to the game. Shattered Space looks set to build on that success with a focused story-driven expansion that combines the best elements of the studio's previous titles. With a handcrafted world for players to explore, a rich narrative filled with political intrigue for us to get engrossed in, and the introduction of cosmic horror, Shattered Space offers a fresh experience for fans of Starfield. As players prepare to land on Vurun Kai for the first time on September 30th when the Shattered Space expansion is finally released, and uncover the mysteries of House Vurun, they will be faced with new challenges, new enemies, and new decisions that will shape the future of the enigmatic faction and the settled systems. If you're someone out there looking for more contained, story-driven experiences from Bethesda, Shattered Space promises to deliver all of this and a compelling and immersive journey into the heart of Starfield. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Starfield news. And if you're looking for something else to watch, click one of the videos you're seeing on screen right now. I will see you there.